Hi guys, I hope you're all well and welcome to episode 5 of the James Layton Fitness Podcast. Now in this specific episode we'll be discussing a couple of different tactics to help to meet your calorie and macronutrient targets with less stress. So this is something I've discussed on Instagram last week, and I've also done a couple of YouTube videos on this topic. I wanted to combine two videos together and create a podcast. Now this is what most people tend to do when they track their calories and macronutrients. They try and meet each individual meal's macronutrients and calorie targets absolutely spot on. There's nothing wrong with this, and you could technically cook meals in bulk and apply this method. However, one of the things I've spoken about many times before, and one of the things I recommend to all of my clients, is trying to use your last meal of the day to make up the net difference of any calories or macronutrients you're short of. So the reason why this is so effective is this really takes the stress away from tracking all day long. One of the things I suggest is eating relatively freely throughout the day, plugging your foods into MyFitnessPal, and at the end of the day, look at MyFitnessPal and just see what targets you're short of, and then put together a meal to make up the net difference of any targets you're short of. Obviously you have to be relatively sensible throughout the day for you to do this, but it's a great tactic to meet your targets with less stress. Now, one of the things I discussed on YouTube and on Instagram is I want to take this one step further, and one of the things I'd suggest doing is actually give yourself plenty of calories for your main evening meal. The reason being, most people like to enjoy their main evening meal, and therefore having a meal where you don't have to absolutely track everything to the T can make things so much more enjoyable. So the point I'm making is try and give yourself plenty of calories for your evening meal, and then after your evening meal we're then going to create this small snack meal to basically make up the net difference of any targets you're short of. And this moves me on to the next topic. I learned this from another online coach and personal trainer, Gordon Greenhorn is his name, and he calls these foods macro filler foods, and basically they're foods that are high in one of the macronutrients and very low in the other two. So a few examples are: for protein you could have whey protein or some lean meats. So this would be high in protein, obviously relatively low in fat and carbohydrates. For your carbohydrates you could have fruit or rice cakes, for example. Again, high in carbohydrates, low in fat, low in protein. And then for your fats you could have some nuts or nut butters. Again, high in fat, relatively low protein, relatively low carbohydrate. So hopefully you can see how each individual food is high in one of the macronutrients and relatively low in the others. And the reason why these are useful is they can be great tools to use at the end of the day to basically make up the net difference of any targets you're short of. So for example, let's just say after your main evening meal you have 20 grams of protein to make up, 25 grams of carbohydrates to make up, and 10 grams of fat to make up. You could easily use whey protein, some fruit and some nuts to easily make up the net difference of any of these macronutrients you're short of. So my suggestion would be to try and have 3 or 4 of these macro filler foods that you can easily call upon at the end of the day. They're high in one of the macronutrients, low in the others, to basically meet any daily macronutrient targets you're short of. And this I think will really help, because I think one of the problems people have when they start tracking their food intake is they get overwhelmed because they're trying to meet each individual meal's macronutrient targets absolutely perfectly. This makes it so much more stressful than it needs to be, because in reality the daily totals are the most important factors. Therefore, eating freely throughout the day, plugging your foods and meals into MyFitnessPal, saving plenty of calories for your evening meal, and then after that evening meal look at MyFitnessPal and see what targets you've got left, and then use these macro filler foods to make up the net difference of any targets you're short of. And this will really be hopefully a lifesaver for you. This does just make it so much less stressful, but at the same time you're still meeting those targets extremely accurately. Hopefully you've enjoyed the podcast. If you're still yet to download my free ebook, How to Set Up a Nutrition Plan, if you go to James Layton, Layton fitness.co.uk, obviously tab at the top of the page and you can download that immediately. I look forward to speaking to you next week. Take care. Thank you very much.